Some of the greatest writers and playwrights in history tried their hand at Hollywood screenwriting. And let's just say, it didn't always go as planned. From literary legends to masters of drama, these brilliant minds sometimes created some of the worst movies you've ever seen. Stay tuned, because one of them even admitted he was coked out of his mind while directing his own disaster. Let's start with Aldous Huxley, the man who gave us Brave New World. Huxley adapted Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice into a 1940 MGM production. But instead of witty social satire, audiences got a glossy costume drama that felt more like Gone with the Wind cosplay. It wasn't terrible, but it was definitely not Austen. Raymond Chandler is a giant of crime fiction, and he co-wrote the legendary Double Indemnity. But not every script was gold. In The Unseen, Chandler delivered a confusing ghost mystery that critics found dull and lifeless. Proof that even the greatest hard-boiled writer could miss the mark. Mario Puzo gave us The Godfather, but he also co-wrote Earthquake, one of the big disaster movies of the 70s. Despite the epic destruction, the film is mostly remembered for cheesy melodrama, flat characters, and the infamous sun-surround gimmick that rattled theater seats. It shook the audience, just not in the way they intended. Richard Matheson wrote I Am Legend and some of the best episodes of The Twilight Zone. But when he was hired to write Jaws 3D, the result was a clunky, poorly acted, and ridiculous sequel where the shark attacks a SeaWorld park. Matheson later disowned the film, saying his script was butchered. And honestly, who could blame him? Cormac McCarthy is one of America's greatest novelists, author of The Road and No Country for Old Men. But when he wrote an original screenplay, Ridley Scott's The Counselor, the result was a cold, pretentious, and often baffling crime thriller. Despite its star-studded cast, the film became infamous for overwrought monologues and a plot that went nowhere. Playwright Tom Stoppard is a genius, known for Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. And yes, Shakespeare in Love won Best Picture at the Oscars. But let's be honest, today almost no one cares about this movie. It's become one of the most forgettable Best Picture winners ever. Richard Price, master of gritty New York dialogue, gave us classics like The Color of Money and Sea of Love. But in the mid-90s, he co-wrote the remake of Kiss of Death, a limp, forgettable thriller that wasted Nicolas Cage and Samuel L. Jackson, a rare misstep from a writer who usually brought the streets to life. Now, this one is legendary. Gore Vidal wrote Caligula, intending a serious political allegory. But the producers and Penthouse magazine turned it into an infamous blend of historical epic and softcore porn. The result? One of the most notorious disasters in film history. Ray Bradbury, the visionary behind Fahrenheit 451, worked with John Huston on Moby Dick. But the process was so torturous, Bradbury later wrote a whole book about how miserable it was. The final film is uneven, with Gregory Peck miscast as Captain Ahab. Even geniuses sometimes can't save a doomed ship. Truman Capote, famous for In Cold Blood and Breakfast at Tiffany's, did an emergency rewrite on John Huston's Beat the Devil. The script was written day by day, improvised on set. The result? A chaotic, tongue-in-cheek adventure that baffled audiences and flopped at the box office. It's more of a curiosity piece than a classic. Bogart himself said he had no idea what the movie was supposed to be about. And then there's Stephen King. Yes, the master of horror, the man behind The Shining, carry it. But in 1986, he decided to direct his own screenplay, Maximum Overdrive, a movie about killer trucks and killer soda machines. King himself later admitted he was coked out of my mind while making it. The result? A chaotic mess where Emilio Estevez fights homicidal big rigs, set to a non-stop AC/DC soundtrack. It's so bad it's become a cult disaster. And here's the kicker. The same writer whose novels inspired The Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile also gave us this. So there you have it. Brilliant writers, terrible movies. Sometimes even geniuses stumble when they step into Hollywood. But now we want to hear from you. Which of these disasters do you think is the worst? And if you want to see the flip side, the times when great writers actually created amazing screenplays, check out our companion video right here.